Meet Michael, an Australian investor who retired, moved to Bali, and went through the process of finding a villa. He shares some valuable information of what you need to know before you do the search for renting a home. It might be a little longer than our normal videos, but we want to make sure we are getting everything from A to Z about someone else that lives in Bali that started over and is now retired. But retired with investments.
Hang on, there's a caveat.
Oh, wait.
Supposed to be retired.
Supposed to.
Bali challenges you.
Okay.
Bali is set to challenge you. Trust me.
You think you're retired, but you're really not.
Why Bali? And quite simply because my DNA changes here. 25 years ago, I came here under sufferance. Did not want to come to Bali. Didn't want bintang, didn't want a bintang t-shirt, didn't want my hair braided. Only did it because a girlfriend had paid for 2 tickets and her in full, and a friend let her down. And it was literally like 5 days before. I didn't even have a current passport. It had elapsed. Had to get it, came here, spent the first 72 hours trying to get out on the phone. It was worse than I imagined. And then I got it. And it was like a lightning rod.
What did you get?
Just an argument with our guide, trying to explain the word stress to him and finding out they really don't have a word for it in their vocabulary. Then having a really stressful event in a car, and I'm like, quick, and everyone's beeping, it's rush hour, and the bedlam of Bali. And then I said, that's stress. I was trying to show him what stress meant. All those people beeping. He said, no, they just communicated. I said, yes, but they're all trying to get somewhere. And I was getting stressed by the traffic. And he said, oh no, they still get there. And it was that one line, because I'm an OCD Virgo, I'm high energy, I don't stop. I don't sit under a palm tree reading a book. My idea of relaxation is going flat out. But here, I accept things I don't accept anywhere in the world. I move at the pace that is dictated by this environment and these people.
You move at the pace that is dictated by the environment and the people.
And you just have to relinquish. You can't fight it. We are guests here. This is not our country. And it's a very special culture, a mix of cultures. And the traffic looks like insanity. It's not. It is a ballet of kindness. It works. I resisted getting on a motorbike for 23 years. And then I grew up on the land. I can handle a motorbike, no problem, but just looked at that as chaos. Got on a motorbike and went, wow, I could close my eyes and no one would hit me, except another bulle. I then graduated to a car, but not a car. We have a large luxury people mover, a big vehicle. I go driving for fun. I love it. It's just, you're sitting at an intersection, 500 people being gassed to death, and you've only got to turn and look at somebody and they're, hi, Pat. Like a long-lost friend. If I'm depressed, I go driving. It is just the kindness. And people, they have 3 experiences here. They come here for cheap shopping, cheap, great food, cheap holiday, and they just don't get it. And what a shame. Other people come here and hate it, just because they just don't open up their experience.
They don't understand it.
Well, they apply their life and their rules to here. It doesn't exist in any way, shape or form. Or you come here and you connect with the people and your DNA changes for life. Literally for life. So, yeah, my experience here is, and COVID multiplied that by 1,000. I found the Western world, I thought that COVID would be the leveler like the Great Depression, and people would be more empathetic and kinder and look after their neighbour. They didn't. The opposite happened. They became insulated, internalised, entitled, selfish. And now I go back to, I don't want to sound like a hippie or anything, but it's certainly not me. But I go back to Australia and the Western world, and you can feel the
energy.
It's changed.
Yeah.
Watch people interacting in restaurants and places like that. It is, and you see people when they first arrive here, and you know how long they've been here.
Can you name one personal challenge that surprised you?
Yes, this one's easy. There's lots. The culture is so in depth. you will never get it. You can spend 20 years trying to understand it. I thought Japanese were complicated. Forget it. These guys, they have the Emmy for that one. But that was a surprise. But I'm a foodie. One of the reasons I'm here is the food. I've travelled from top to bottom of Italy. I've travelled the whole world. And this is my food, Shangri-La. Because you can have 30 people front of house and you can have 50 people in the kitchen. And a lot of the ingredients here, some of them are amazing. They bring in fresh ingredients from all around the world. But my challenge is as a mad chef and a cook. And I'm friends with a lot of the top chefs. One of my friends is probably the best fine dining chef on the island. And I said, I'm having a challenge. And he said, look, the ingredients, the humidity, the temperature, if you're using gas. I put induction cooktops in both my villas because gas reacts differently with humidity and temperature. And look, trying to cook here is a nightmare, finding the ingredients. There's more and more food brought in for expats. It can be very expensive to bring food in. Most of the local food, the eggs are incredible. I use so many eggs. Any egg you pick up anywhere is got that creaminess, beautiful rich yolk, because they're almost organic. They don't use a lot of chemicals and things here. They cook it. And because it's so humid, everything grows very quickly. There's a lot of water content. So they either pick it too young, which is good because, you get baby zucchinis, a punnet of them for like $1. In Australia, that would be $12, $17, and it's gourmet food. Here, it's just pick it off the shelf, 80 cents, $1. Or they grow a zucchini till it's tough and it's this big. So you're constantly, and it's all wrapped in plastic. That's the one that drives me crazy. So I'm always picking it without plastic. I don't put it in a bag. I say, put the sticker on no bags. Yeah, but cooking here is a real challenge, finding the ingredients. If you love cooking. Yeah. A lot of people eat out all the time. It is becoming more expensive, so that's not happening as much.
Yeah. I found that in a lot of cases, it's just as cheap to eat out than it is to cook.
Gojek.
Or Gojek.
Gojek.
By the way, people, I have a video that I'm going to be doing just on food.
It makes you very lazy.
That's a true statement.
Makes you
and an introvert, too.
And then you get really annoyed if they don't bring it all the way to the front door. I mean, what you can do here with a Gojek.
Right.
Anything you want or grab. Anything you want, you just can have it delivered in 10 minutes, Onto your second bottle of wine, just, make sure you order it when you're on the second last glass because there'll be another bottle here. I have seen, and I want to find it again, that the World Health Authority said that most children between the age of 6 and 16 in Bali today are developmentally set back about a decade for the rest of their lives through malnutrition. And the Balinese didn't talk about it. They're so proud. They just, they got on with it. So during COVID, one of the families that I love and respect, one of my dearest friends, they were lying to us about their situation, and we found out that they were in dire need. And even the food thought she was a restaurant manager. At first, they were getting free prawns, and then they were getting free seafood. But then the seafood places found out they could sell it for compost. So that food source was removed. Instead of, 10 cents in the dollar, they're getting a cent in the dollar to make compost out of good food source. So even the free food source was taken away. So we spent them $3 million, 300 Australian dollars, and got taught true humility. They spent $30. They took the remainder and they bought food packs, 17 food packs, about 20 food packs.
For their village.
And they sent me a photo. I said, what are you doing? This money's for you. It's for your family, 2 young children. She went, no, we're okay. There are people worse off than us. So they made these food packs, just staples like oil and a big bag of rice and tray of eggs and sanitary products for females, and went around and gave them to people that were worse off than them. So I put it on Facebook. The next night we had $1,200 and we sent it over. And the next time we had 2,000. And then the restaurant she used to work in, we turned that into a factory. And we fed, I think it was like 440 families through COVID. And they were breaking curfew. They were borrowing cars. They were getting arrested on the street to get these food packs in. And they went into, there are rubbish dumps here where people live on the rubbish dump and with a rag wipe out plastic cups and squash them down. And they're the places they went. Those people received gifts they probably didn't receive in the best of times. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've been coming to Bali for 25 years. And through COVID, not being able to come here for 3 years, it was tearing at my heartstrings because this is where my soul lies. And the first plane to leave Brisbane, because we're from the Gold Coast, my partner and my sister and I were in seats 1, 2, 3, 8 in row A. We came back for 2 months, and I realised being deprived of this place and the kindness and the people that I needed to be in Bali. So our first thought was 2 months on, 2 months off. I'd retired before COVID, and my partner could work remotely at the time, and we started looking for rentals. So then I started thinking laterally, so what are these little 2-bedroom villas worth? And what's the return? If we're not here half the time, if they're getting 20%, I'm getting more return on my money than I can sitting in the bank. So we started looking. Then suddenly a really good opportunity came up for a 3-bedroom villa. Amazing real estate agents. That's the relationship you have to have. And we went into escrow. We bought the villa and we flew to Japan, and then the agent rang me and said, your previous owner has just signed a contract for 3 years, locking up your villa with a villa management company, and you can only live in it 2 months a year. Not legally binding, but try fight that. So that fell over, and then I set me on a journey. We went through about 5 villas. Every contract fell over because there was issues with the providence or we were being lied to. And one day the agent said, send me everything you've ever looked at. And I said, what about the first place I ever sent you? And she said, look, we can't. You've got to use a villa management company. You could only live in 3 months a year. There are so many rules. And she said, oh, we can't get access. It's been on the market for 18 months. And she said, hang on, I'm going there tomorrow. Just near there, I'll knock on the door. So she knocked on the door, and the owner from China was here for a date. And she showed her through. They were waiting for changeover between clients. She said, oh, look, I've got a buyer. The problem is you have this, this, and this. And the owner said, no, I don't. So it turned out the villa management company had actually been a bit, I won't say deceitful, they didn't want the villa to sell. They wanted the status quo. So she said, no, I'll accept an offer, and those conditions do not apply. We gave her an offer, but unfortunately she also made it public that the conditions didn't apply. So we made an offer, and there were 3 offers the same day. Be mindful, none of this is easy. My advice to anybody, unless you have a history in experience in real estate, in renovation, in conducting business, running business, being litigious, you need to be multi-skilled or multi-aware so that you can manage everything, micromanage. It is a very complicated process. And this villa, for example, had a myriad of problems, from rising damp, falling ceilings, leaking pool, hot water systems, very bad water supply. But we spent another $100,000 in renovating it, and we struck it pretty lucky. Most things in Bali happen very slowly, and you can multiply every time frame by probably 4 or 5 if you're lucky. That's how we ended up with this villa. At the same time, my agent said, look, when you buy a villa in Bali, if it's a business, a rental, you cannot work in Bali. So the only way, if you buy this villa, which was about 5 billion at the time, 500,000 Australian, For me to run this as a business, I have to hand this to a villa management company. They run the business under contract, and they hand me, this is how they term it, the terminology, they hand me the dividend. They pay all the expenses, and they pay me the leftover dividend.
The profit.
Yeah. The only way you can sort of manage that is to spend $1 million Australian dollars, which then gets you a PT, a company. That gives me the right to give direction, take meetings, and so therefore, but I physically can't work. I think technically I can't even use a computer or take notes in a meeting, because that would be a stenographer's job. I do know people even got in trouble for shopping at the hardware store. I take my staff, I point out, they make the purchase. So you have to keep, and it's their country, it's keeping people actively, people, look, we are guests here. And the more people you can employ, the more people you can support, the better. We have a great privilege in being here. So my agent contacted me and said, I know you don't want to spend any more money, but this is a great opportunity. It is a local family. They've become very successful, and they want to branch into utilising their land better. They're going to start developing. So their first project is 5 villas. They're offering each of those villas at a very low profit margin, so they can go through the process and learn. They're offering the real estate one, their accountant one, their solicitor one, and so on. And we can't buy the one they're offering us, but we think you could be a great mentor to the young gentleman that's doing it. And would you be interested if we asked if you could have that deal? So I went and met him, and he said, absolutely. So I basically bought it off the plan at a very low margin. So great opportunity. It took an extra probably year than it was supposed to take, and great opportunities turned into a lot of hard work here. So now I have 2 villas, a 15-year-old villa with a 15-year contract left on it, and a brand new villa, 2-bedroom, with 25 years left on it. And I now have a position that I can manage the company. So I now can micromanage and make sure that I'm on top of things. And you really need to be conscious of everything that happens here. My broad understanding, there are 2 different types of professionals here. There is an agent, so for example, for visa agent, and I can call in one of my staff now and they can be an agent in 10 minutes just by being an intermediate for me. Or there's a consultant, someone who is trained or has a degree, so you need to know there's a difference in many of these processes, and you need to be litigious and you need to be very careful because it's very complicated. So for example, my agents had a very good relationship, one of the most longest standing acting notaries on the island, Eddie, who is unfortunately retiring soon or has retired. And when they first looked at this villa, there was about 15 transactions on the lot. So originally it started, there was a block of land, so they had a contract to be built on. And there were 2 brothers. So this is a complex of 8 villas, and half are on each from 2 different families. So there could be 20 people on a contract, auntie, uncle, children, cousin, and you need to know that every one of them is in agreement and is legally signed, and that there is no outward person that has a legal entitlement through, just like buying a second-hand car in Australia. You need to make sure that it doesn't have a loan on it or so on. And so many people come in, and because the rules are a bit grey here, well, they think, oh, I can be a bit grey. A lot of people do. They fly through the middle. But when it bites, it can bite hard. And if it doesn't...
Like penalties when the bite. It's a bite is a huge
penalty. It could
penalty.
also be that the title is not the title. The title holders that signed it didn't have the right. And even more complicated, this is 5 area of land, so it's 500 square meters. And my kitchen is on a separate title. So one of those brothers has died. The children have decided they want to renew all their leases. So half the complex here is back to 25 years. So the renewal of our lease, which is a guaranteed renewal, but on both properties, runs to about 5 years, or it can be negotiated at any point if both parties are agreeing. And then as it comes close to renewal, I go get 3 registered agents who are qualified to give a land evaluation. We take the average, and the middle 30% of that is your negotiating space. You can negotiate outside of that, but to protect you, that's the sort of legal stance. And your negotiating power is then, they might only want to negotiate 5 years, you might want to negotiate 20.
So it's time that you're negotiating, not necessarily the price. The
Well,
prices
and
can
value.
be and value. The value could be within 30%, though.
Yeah, they in the center of that.
Okay.
Yeah. But if I really want 30 more years, not 15 more years or 5 more years, I might up the ante, knowing that in 30 years that will be worth a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
The party I'm negotiating with mightn't be alive then. They might want their money now. There is a lot of play depending on people's situations. I know during COVID, a lot of people assisted the landowner by offering to buy an extra 5 years just to help them. So there was a lot of different ways
that happened in my neighborhood.
It could play out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to really support and help people. So our mission statement and our whole ethos behind everything we do is to protect the natural beauty, the culture, the architecture of Bali. And we try to bring all of that together harmoniously to create our villas. And the other important rule is, if you face in any one direction, you know you are in Bali. Bali's losing its identity. If you go to my favorite place, Canggu, sorry I swore, you will see Little Santorini or Little Mexico, or they don't have palms anymore, they have cactuses. That is lunacy for me. If you want to go to Mexico, do not. Sorry, I get wound up. I get angry.
This is an ECAP batik.
And that's everything starts from that one piece. We have all the Jengala pottery, which is Jengala is a World UNESCO registered pottery. And everything I do is about how you feel. And our point of difference, a couple of them are, we're very lucky, we have these 3 50 square metre bedrooms. They are bigger than most hotel rooms. So each one we've set up like an international hotel. We have full coffee machine, tea, bar fridge, workstations, international power points in every room. So the water from every single tap, shower, we even flush the toilets with it, is 10 times clearer than the local aqua water. We just had a gentleman who has devoted his life to building wells in Kenya and so on. I met him on the beach and came and showed him. He came in out of interest because he does it in every hotel he goes to. He tested our water, and our pool water is cleaner than Evian.
Crazy.
So brush your teeth. No dry scaly skin. No fear of Bali belly from the local water. Now I'm dripping. Brush your teeth. Nice, soft, silky hair. And protect our investment. You often see toilets here and they look filthy because the porcelain's eaten away. So it also gives people security because it looks clean.
Yeah.
People have a lot of concern about their health and well-being, and that's what we try to protect.
It's so quiet here.
Yeah.
You stay here?
Yes.
Nice.
Or then I get forced out.
This houses how many couples? 6? 5?
So the idea is we want it to be different. So because the rooms are so large, we try to really aim at 3 couples. And if you're a bit hungover, if you're having a bit of an argument with a friend, you can stay in your own hotel room, basically. That's the principle. And dead centre, we've got the W Hotel right here and Potato Head right here, 2 of the biggest institutions in Seminyak. And there are 26 restaurants within 15 minutes. And we're literally, you can sit on, we have a rooftop deck, we call it the sunset deck, with a Balinese bale. You can sit there at night, the sun sets straight over here, and you can hear the ocean. It's adorable. And birds, it's so quiet here. But we're dead centre to everything. All these carvings are bespoke. This is Lavina. I've heard one of the principles is not just Balinese carvings or statues, it's the use of timbers and stone and wood. You know, all of those elements brought together. Very culturally aware here. All of our staff, we have half Muslim and half Hindu, which gives you a balance between their ceremonies. But we respect every religious ceremony they have, and they get that time off. That is the most important thing for us, is our staff, our family, sorry. And that's what people love when they come here. Everyone forgets all this beauty and all of that beauty, and they remember the staff. We ask them to go, we have our own temple. They do offerings in the morning, and staff try and encourage people to become involved. And we try to get people to ask about their culture, let them mingle and understand and get a deep-rooted understanding of it, you know, because we can't lose that. That's a point of difference. This is Bali. And I recently stayed at a hotel. I wrote them a 4-page letter because this is a prayer band, one of the most important things you can have in Bali. And it must come off with time. You can't cut them off. And they had them all removed. Their staff removed them because they said they're a jewelry. And I said, you're removing the culture, you're removing the point of difference, the reason for people to come here. You are sterilising this country. And their entire company had 2-day sensitivity training to stop that. And this is a wood.
And you use Toto.
Yes, the best of everything.
Yeah.
Keeping fresh orchids.
Oh, those are fresh.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
The humidity allows for it.
No, we try to keep
Oh, this is nice.
some greenery or fresh flowers in every room. All natural ingredients, no, all natural product. Again, showering in crystal clear water. Crystal clear drinking water.
I love.
Little details.
Oh, little details.
Yes.
We like those.
Part of our protecting the environment. But by the way, we are plastic free. 99.9999. There is a small caveat. So when I came here, there was, I think there's like a little garbage bin in every room. It's just a Balinese thing. And they clean them 3 times a day with a plastic bag. We have a plastic liner that's washed. And the other thing I'm proud of is all of our amenities
Look at that.
are completely biodegradable, except for maybe the shaver head. So you've got bamboo combs, the shaving kit's compressed wheat, the sanitary bags are biodegradable, toothbrushes are bamboo. And we do not supply slippers for, number one, hygiene if we were to recycle them or wash them, and number two, they are an environmental nightmare.
Hey, really? I didn't know
Yes,
that.
because you imagine 6 pair a night here just being thrown out. The ocean's straight through there, the sunset's over there, and you can look down onto the stunning pool deck and so on, so catch us a lovely ocean breeze. Fitness equipment, because with our water and everything else we do.
And I
it's
love
important.
the fence here.
I designed that. That's actually the Hindu swastika, and it used to be a fibro wall, and we tried to incorporate cross breeze as well. Most elevated spots, if you get a view here, you're normally looking at satellite dishes and air conditioners. To heaven. And everything we've done has been bespoke. We've used local tradesmen and their beautiful skills, and the carvings to the furniture to the umbrellas. You know, you want to cook an egg or you want to do something really simple, and you're like, why couldn't they just have a spatula? You know, you've got a wonky pan, so every single thing you would reach for in your private home is here, at the highest quality and the highest grade. There is nothing you can't do in your home you can't do here. Really important. So when you walk in the door, this is your home. You know, we try to personalise it that much. So we have a beautiful portable massage bed we set up here with the fan, the view, the birds, as you can hear. And we provide massages here in the room. So I spent my life travelling the world, 45 years in hospitality.
I like just even the side garden.
Oh, and
There's
this,
a path.
this everyone loves.
Yeah, I love this thing. Look at this. This is in the background while you're talking, but
People mesmerised.
you can find stuff like this on Geelong Seminyak if you're shopping, or there's a few places where they have them. But
Golden Buffalo, it's a supermarket.
Golden Buffalo.
Golden Buffalo in Denpasar. The greatest hidden secret, it's the size of a supermarket just with brassware. So there's the induction cooktop with no gas, killing auntie, grandma or cousin.
And you need a special pan for that.
Yes.
You can't just use a pan.
So we have,
Stainless steel.
yeah, but they have to have magnetic base. So crockery and cutlery is designer.
Look at that.
All local products. As I said, you can prepare or cook any meal. We have everything you possibly can imagine or need. Just goes on.
One more for the cheapsies. How many people do you have place settings for?
12.
Okay. Wow. You can have a party here.
Same with glassware.
Okay. Refrigerator. It's an ion, but look at the design on it.
Champagne, I like it.
Oh my God.
So we did match your PowerPoints just to be. Because of our no plastics policy, there is no plastic bottles in this place.
Okay.
So because we can drink from any tap,
Yeah.
we actually have drinking bottles for everybody. So there is no plastic.
Can they take that with them, or is that they have to leave it here for the next guest?
We're looking at that.
Okay.
Yeah, looking at that.
All right.
Finding a more cost-effective way. And if you're a dreadful alcoholic like me. So a fun antidote, we were trying to come up with a company name. And I was thinking something that was derivative of my sister, my mother and father and myself. They're all corny. And I'm dyslexic. So, and I speak in spoonerism, so suddenly I came up with Nococut Hospitality Group.
Nococut.
Hospitality Group.
Okay.
Because coconut dyslexically is
Oh.
Nococut. So this is Villa Noco, and the other villa is Villa Nococu. And the welcoming drink is a Noco Colada. So, yeah, it's a little play that goes right through our whole ethos as well.
And so you get that when you arrive.
Yes.
Awesome.
And yeah, everyone loves it, just a little play. And, of course, a fresh, cold towel. We also have a luxury people mover. So when we bring 6 people in from the airport, they all arrive as one group with butler assistance. Just the detail. Just call Jay, tell him what's happening with your mum. Yeah, she's having a
I truly hope this video gave you some valuable insights into the world of leasing a villa in Bali. If so, please like this video to help others discover our community, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support means a lot. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.